Blog Talk Radio.
We are. Hi, everybody. This is Jim Mitchell, and so excited to talk about our topic today that I'm actually jumping ahead of the music there and trying to talk before we even begin. But I think that's what happens when you have a good topic. As we get to the end of the calendar year, we're definitely in the Viatorian community planning ahead to 2022. And today we're going to talk about a milestone event for the community. Good to have you back to our Viatorian Voices, our Conversations on the Way podcast. And today we're going to focus, as we have recently, on the upcoming Viatorian Youth Conference, whereas in the past we had some of the participants, people who had been through it as students, as young people of faith. Today, I don't want to say we have older people. We have people who are experienced and have been leaders, and we're going to talk about it from their perspective. So I welcome Juliann, Dwyer, and Brother John Eustice. We're going to talk about a very important topic. So first of all, Juliann, Brother John, thank you both for being here today.
It's great
Thank
to be
you.
here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so nice to have you. Juliann, your first time with us. Brother John has talked with me on podcast a number of times, but a lot to learn today. Juliann, before we get started, since we know Brother John a little bit, tell me a little bit about your background in the Viatorian community.
Well, in 2009, I became a Viatorian associate, but I've worked for a Viatorian parish since 1993, St. Thomas More. And I was honored to be asked to be a Viatorian associate and took my commitment seriously and loved working with the teens in my parish and that and bringing them closer to Christ through different areas like the VYC.
And so much to learn about the VYC. We'll talk about that. And as I mentioned, Brother John Eustice has been with us a number of times, but a lot of changes every time we talk to him. He's someplace new, doing something different. So how about a quick update, Brother John, on where you're at and what you got going on right now?
Yeah, sure. That is a very good question of where in the world is Brother John Eustice. Currently, I live in Bourbonnais, Illinois, and I serve as the Director of Vocation Ministry for the Viatorians, but also I double as a seminarian at Catholic Theological Union. So I'm in my first of 3 full-time years studying for priesthood, but at the same time working on inviting people to listen to God's invitation and hopefully to become a Viatorian brother or priest.
And when we talk about the Viatorian community, Juliann, of course, and a Viatorian associate, has been involved for many years. One key aspect of this that just gets people excited about the community and involved is this Viatorian Youth Conference. And Juliann, you've been involved. Can you kind of tell me what the VYC is all about and what takes place?
It's a 4-day experience for high school teens. They come from different parishes. They're asked by either their youth leader or campus ministry to be involved in this. This year, hopefully, will be encouraging since we didn't have this last year. And they come together and they learn about the Viatorians and Father Curb and just what we stand for and what we believe in. It's so encouraging to see them come and learn about liturgy and social justice and prayer.
And it's as you mentioned, an annual event didn't occur in 2020 for the obvious reasons. Brother John, can you tell us where and when this one is going to take place so we can get people lined up?
Yeah, originally we were planning on it to be at St. George Parish, which is within Bourbonnais Township, about 15 minutes from where I live right now, out in the middle of the cornfields, actually. And St. George Parish is a Viatorian parish and has been for decades. It's one of these limestone churches out in the middle of the country. Father Dan Bellinger, who you've heard from before, he is the pastor there, and they actually have the Father Louis Curbs Center for Youth Ministry or Youth Education, and that's going to become our retreat center for the Viatorian Youth Congress 2022. So, yes, we've had to skip it for the last 2 years, obviously, but we're excited to be able to host it here, as we have also hosted it in other places, such as the Parish in Las Vegas and in the northwest suburbs of Chicago most recently.
And how big of a crowd do you normally get at the event?
Yeah, normally there's roughly 50 what we call delegates, which are the teenagers from the various institutions, and we have Cristo Rey St. Martin, Cristo Rey St. Viator, St. Viator High School, St. Thomas More, Maternity BBM Parish, St. Patrick Parish, and a bunch of other places that do send young people. And so not only is it the 50-ish, and maybe even 60 depending on our capacity, young people who are there, but we also have about 12 young adults, usually college age, who are guiding the young people, and then also the delegation leaders, who would be the youth and campus ministers, and also Viatorians there. We kind of call it our Viatorian family reunion, and it's the one time in the year that Viatorian associates, brothers, and priests concentrate so much, meaning that we're all together working on the same project. Normally you're going to find us out in the field doing ministry that's far-flung. Well, this one, we come together. It's an enriching experience for the youth especially, but I would venture to guess if you interviewed all of the different adults involved with it, it's just as enriching for them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Juliann, you just gave us a nice description of what the event is about and the duration. Let's talk a little bit about some of the specifics. And you said it's great to talk about prayer, learn about prayer, and some of the other things. Talk about some of the events or modules or sessions that take place, and what sort of the topics, get covered when students attend this.
So when we have prayer leaders, usually Viatorian associates or the youth ministers or campus ministry leaders, priests, brothers that come and discuss different forms of prayer, which gives them a great experience of it. I've in the past have done meditation prayer, and it's so rewarding to see these students really concentrate and focus on prayer. We also talk about liturgy. The students have the opportunity of picking the music for the liturgy, and also the readings. And two teens usually come up and do the homily, and it's just inspiring to see how wonderful they do with this. The prayers of the faithful, and that it's all a learning experience for them. They haven't been doing this in their parish usually. So it's just great to see them absorb all of this knowledge and that's put in front of them. We also do social justice, and in the past, Father Corey and Brother Michael has come and talked about different issues. One year we talked about trafficking and brought all that information to light to the children. I can't say enough about the learning part about it, but also it gives the teens an opportunity to be together, and coming from their different locations. They also have a night where it's a talent show, so they have fun also. It's not just all learning in that.
We might call it more of a variety show than talent, but we'll call it a talent show.
That's true. Some of the things that they put on are quite interesting and can make you laugh a lot. And they learn what
cringe once in a while, but that's okay.
They also learn what it means to be a Viatorian, and what Father Curbs was all about, and where he came from, and how this is lived out in each of the different parishes and high schools that are involved with the Viatorians. I can't say enough about what happens in those 4 days. It is jam-filled. And they also take the opportunity of meeting with different Viatorian associates and a priest and brothers, and then 2 people will interview one of these people and then bring it back and present it to the rest of the delegation that is there. And it's eye-opening, too. You know, I remember the first year going there, I learned a lot about different people, just hearing what these teens had learned from the different associates and leaders.
Well,
you know
before
how
for the conversation,
oftentimes there's explanations of families that get together, and the different generations, the older people can say, oh, can't you see so-and-so in that little kid, or can't you see Aunt whoever in that kid? The VYC is a lot like that family reunion, where those of us who are Viatorian officially by public commitment or by public vows, when we are there, these young people are reflecting back to us who we are, and they also take it on themselves and bring it out into the world. So it's quite fascinating and rewarding to be there.
Well, I want to encourage people to be there, and that's part of the podcast today, and we're getting a lot of great information from Juliann, Dwyer, and Brother John Eustice, but I got a couple more questions for them, but let me direct everyone to Viatorians.com, the website, Viatorians.com. You will find Viatorian Youth Congress there in the menu. Click on that to get information about registration and more detail than even we can provide you here today. Or, as always, you can email vocations@Viatorians.com. So Viatorians.com website or vocations@Viatorians.com to get more information. We're trying to encourage people to be here. You've given a great description of what happens. We're talking about young people, Brother John, so if they're listening and thinking about this, what are they going to walk away with? What should they hope to gain from being a part of an event like this?
They're going to gain an identity of who they are as Viatorians. They may not know right now that they're influenced by the Viatorian mission and vision, the values started by Father Curbs, but once this family reunion comes together, the cousins start recognizing common traits among one another. And then oftentimes what we hear, this has been going on since about 2010, what we hear from people who've been on it, even 5, 10 years later, they often go back to the experience of the Youth Congress and look at that as a moment that either was life-changing or a moment that was life-defining of, hey, I want to stand up for being a person of prayer, and I want to stand up for being a person of justice, and I want to stand up for being a person of active faith. That's what young people experience from this, and hopefully they are on fire for living out their faith that they've taken a little bite of at the Youth Congress.
And what I've seen when they've come back to the parish is that they're sharing that information with other teens that didn't go, and encouraging them to participate and be more active in their faith journey at church, and to give of their time back. It's just inspiring to see how much is done with social justice, and we come up with a plan, and then we bring it back to the church, and we implement that. And it's with these teams that have goes there that really do that implementation.
And the key part is one of the key parts are the leaders of young adult leaders who are college age or a little bit older who can walk with people. They don't necessarily need to have gone on VYC either. But if you are a young adult woman or man and you're thinking, hey, I want to be a part of this because I know at least a little bit about the Viatorians, go to our website or contact your closest Viatorian you know, and we can talk about it, or you can apply to be a leader.
Well, we got a lot of information. Certainly want to thank Juliann and Brother John for being with us today. And, of course, the Viatorian community proclaims Jesus Christ and his gospel, and we all know raises communities where faith is lived, deepened, and celebrated. And this includes the Viatorian Youth Congress, again, taking place summer of 2022 in Bourbonnais at St. George Parish. If you'd like to learn more, Viatorians.com or email vocations@Viatorians.com. And, of course, college-age and post-grad young adults are invited to return as leaders and coordinators as well. So we encourage everyone to take a look and learn more about it. thanks very much for listening. We appreciate all the time that you spend, and I look forward to having another discussion soon on Viatorian Voices.